Are you about to take a leap? Are you ready financially? Are you ready physically? Are you ready emotionally? Let's explore that. In this episode, we'll cover the often neglected personal considerations of having your own business. The best time to start a business doesn't depend on the economy, doesn't depend on the Dow Jones. The best time to start a business is not when you're in a crisis mode. But we love comfort, I know I do. And a lot of times, we're forced to start a business because we're laid off, or we're forced to start a business because we're just sick and tired of what we're doing. Starting a business and building it to a point where you can take it full time, it requires preparation. In all aspects of your life, I want you to be prepared before you take that leap. Emotionally, psychologically, financially. And I also should add that there's nothing wrong with keeping a side hustle, especially if it's profitable. You can keep it as such. Only you can make that decision to transition that side hustle to a full-time venture. Take a few minutes, take an hour, calm your mind, and write the pros and cons for the venture you're about to undertake. And I'll share some examples. On the pro side, your side hustle today allows you some flexibility, some extra income. You'll learn how to run a small business. You're having to do contracts, you're delivering services, the clients have to be happy. So these are all advantages to having a side hustle. In terms of the cons, long hours, right? So you're doing work on the weekend, you're doing work after hours, you might be missing some birthdays, some important dates in your life, right? Those are things to keep in mind. In addition, with a side hustle, a lot of times you see opportunities for growth, but because you have limited time, because you have limited resources, you can't really expand that side hustle. So work through your own list, and here are some things to consider as you go through that decision of moving your side hustle to a full-time business. Number one, adopting the mindset of a business owner. So when you start a business, you'll be the CEO, you'll be the janitor, and everyone in between, and everything in between. You'll be the head of sales, you'll be the head of marketing, the head of IT, the head of HR, the head of finance and taxes. So you'll be doing all these roles that you did not even know they existed. In your job, just showing up and doing your work is sufficient. When you're your own boss, when you have your own business, just showing up ain't gonna cut it. So you have to adopt and learn all these aspects of the business. And again, you don't have to learn it all on your own. There are a lot of resources, but you do have to understand what's ahead of you in terms of sales, contracts, terms, accounting, getting paid on time, how to follow up with a client who's not paying you. So all these are part of the business. You have to learn, at least manage these other aspects of the business, not just the technical piece that you know how to do. Taking the leap and starting your own business reminds me of this one time, and only one time, I tried parachuting. It sounded like a great idea until I was on the plane. We were ready. The doors opened and we stood up. There was a point of no return. It would be very embarrassing if I decided not to take the fall. So everybody stood up and we started to walk toward this open air. I closed my eyes, I kept walking, and then it was the jump. It was awful, it was scary. This free falling, this spiraling, these are the exact feelings that a business owner is likely to have when they start their own business. But once the parachute opened, I had the biggest sigh ever. Things slowed down. I'm enjoying the scenery, the open air. It was amazing. I had this big smile. I cried a bit, but it was really, really amazing. And that's the same feeling. Once you have that breakthrough moment in your business, you have your biggest deal, or you close this biggest client that you've been working on for so long. Those are the times where all the hard work, all that free falling, all that taking the leap into the unknowns, all those pains and all the scars and all the blood, sweat, and tear, those will pay off when you make it and you make it big in your business. Your leap into your business, no matter how prepared you think you are, is still a leap. And you want to be ready, mentally ready for the challenges ahead. Let me walk you through some scenarios, real examples of what I went through. What do you do when you're calling clients to collect? You've done the work, you completed the project, they're happy, but they're not paying you. What do you do when you're knocking on doors to get leads, to get sales, and you're getting rejections? What do you do when you know there's a way to scale the business? You need some investors, you need some financing behind it, and you apply for that loan, for that credit line, and you get rejected. And what do you do when you have payroll coming up in 2 weeks, you have mouths to feed, you have your staff and their families, and you don't have enough cash in the bank to process payroll? This one is probably the most painful feeling I've ever had. probably worse than the free-falling experience I mentioned earlier. Those are real examples of what a business owner would have to go through. So being mentally prepared is paramount. But don't despair. Once the business becomes profitable, cash flow positive, you have a sustainable growth path, you're attracting the coveted brands, amazing customers, amazing talent, this is when you take that big sigh and enjoy the fruits of your hard work. And lastly, speaking about giving back, take the time to do some pro bono work, an hour or two a week on the weekend, maybe do it with your family on your own, go to a soup kitchen or what have you, and take care of those who don't have the resources, those who are maybe struggling more than you are. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.